On eros, musings on the holy. Number 1. You are currently experiencing desire. Otherwise, you wouldn't be reading these words. Even if you are reading them at the behest of someone else, you are motivated by your desire to please that person. And if you stop reading, you will do so not because you have stopped desiring, but because your desires have changed. That's from William Irvine's On Desire. What is eros? For as long as I can remember, I've been absolutely filled to the brim with desire. Whether it be the desire for greatness in art or business, the desire to revolutionize how people see the world and see ourselves in it, the desire to love and fuck on a beautiful woman. Yes, even that one has been around for a long time. Unfortunately, I had a horrible influence growing up, and I've known about sex and cursing since I was 5. I've always been a pretty erotic guy. I've always been full of desire, full of life, full of eros. Eros isn't just about sex. In fact, sexuality is only a recent byproduct of the evolution of eros. See, the cosmos lived in eros for billions of years before animals or humans evolved for sexuality. The desire that pulls me towards a beautiful woman is the exact same desire that a proton feels when pulled towards an electron. This attraction, this moving towards each other, this feeling of wanting to unite, this is eros. It's the experience of radical aliveness, desiring ever deeper contact and ever greater wholeness. The paradox of this book is that it is all about sex and not about sex at all. Sex is life, but if we are only alive in our sex, then we are already dead. By contrast, being fully alive in the sexual models for us what it means to be radically alive in every facet of life. The experience of being radically alive is called eros. To be fully alive in every dimension of your life is what it means to live an erotic life. This is why we have termed the new sexual narrative sex erotic. Sex erotic suggests that sex and eros are not to be collapsed synonyms. Sex and eros are different but closely related terms. Sex is sex. Eros is the radical aliveness that animates and drives all of reality. The new sexual narrative of sex erotic informs us of 2 great truths. First, that sex is the expression of the evolutionary eros that animates and drives all of reality, awake and alive in us. Second, that sex models for us what it means to live in eros in every facet of our existence. That's from Mark Gaffney and Christina Kincaid's A Return to Eros. Beautiful book. Reality is eros. All the way up, all the way down. Reality is constructed of whole parts, being both a whole in and of itself, while simultaneously being a part of something greater. See, this is non-duality in a nutshell. You are both a droplet in the ocean, a part, and an entirely new ocean in a droplet, a whole. You are not the ocean, that's God, fool, but you are your own unique ocean, a fractal that mirrors the source. You are a puzzle piece of the one, a part, who also, who's also their own puzzle to figure out, right? So you're not only a puzzle piece of God, but you also have your own entire puzzle of that puzzle piece. You see what I'm saying? This is why we desire to connect with others, to connect with ourselves, to connect with reality. We all intuitively understand that we're part of something greater than just our physical body or even our individual soul. We're a part of a collective. We're all one with the ocean, the infinite ocean of eros. Mastering our desires. Have few desires, but have great ones. The Buddha. The purpose of mastering our desires isn't to stop desiring altogether. Not only is that impossible, yeah, but you wouldn't actually want that. There's an ancient Hebrew story on eros that displays this perfectly. Here's my retelling of the story. Let's jump back, say, 35-ish hundred years ago or so. Imagine you're a Jewish fisherman who's pleading to God, begging God, to stop all this sexual fornication in your village. Everyone is fucking, and it's bad. Supposedly. So you ask God to turn down the dial on your people's sexuality so they can be more productive, get some fucking work done. God retaliates and says, I don't think that's what you really want, gang. Right? Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. You stand convicted on your request and affirm that this is what you want. And since God doesn't get in the way of us making fools of ourselves, God grants the request for your village. You go to bed that night proud. You've just reasoned with God on behalf of your village. You kiss your beautiful wife goodnight and catch some Z's, excited to go out for tomorrow's catch. The next day you wake up next to your beautiful wife and notice something strange. Two things strange, in fact. One, your cock isn't rock hard from morning wood like usual. And two, your wife isn't rubbing her booty on your rock hard cock like she likes to do every morning. So now you start thinking, what the hell is going on? Right? I'd be tripping too. If every single day of my life, my dick was just hard as fuck, and then it wasn't some day, I'd be kind of confused. If every day I was married to my wife, I woke up to her rubbing some shit on me, and then some day she wasn't, I'd be like, yo, what's up? Like, what's up, mama? Like, what we doing? Like, where the ass? You feel me? You get out of bed to begin getting ready for the day. Usually you'd be riled up by your wife's early morning teas and the pleasure of the scent of sea salt. But today you don't have either. Even though you're lacking your usual fuel, you still manage to scrape together enough to get ready and head over to your sailmate's place so y'all can get started on the catch of the day. You arrive at your sailmate's house, but when you knock, something strange happens. His wife answers the door and says, "This fool's still in bed." What? You think to yourself, he loves fishing more than I do. What is going on? I don't know. He said something about just not feeling it today. And in that moment, you get a click of insight. This is what God warned us of. You go around your village and see that no one is fucking. Awesome. No one's having sex. Unfortunately, no one is working. Not as awesome. So you pray to God and you beg God to return your village back to how they were. Absolutely full of horn. Because it's that very horn that drives us to do anything. Anything. Your sexual energy and your creative energy are one. When you lose your sexual energy, you lose your creative power. So like I said earlier, the point of mastering your desires isn't to stop desiring altogether. We don't actually want that. Here's another quote from Irvine's On Desire that hits this point beautifully. Desire animates the world. It is present in the baby crying for milk, the girl struggling to solve a math problem, the woman running to meet her lover and later deciding to have children, and the old woman hunched over her walker, moving down the hall of the nursing home at a glacial pace to pick up her mail. Banish desire from the world, and you get a world of frozen beings who have no reason to live and no reason to die. Yo, when I read that in the library last week, I was like, holy shit, look, that's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Banish desire from the world, and you get a world of frozen beings who have no reason to live and no reason to die. Without desire, life is pretty whack. It is what it is. But we have to be careful that we don't fall into the trap of seeking worldly desires. Not to say that you can't or shouldn't have worldly desires. Far from my point. God put those desires on your heart so that God can experience God through you. Your desires are God's desires. But we shouldn't have this belief that worldly desires can ultimately fulfill us or bring us this happiness that we're searching for. I talked about this in my vlog. If you want to check this out, check out the description where you can go to the erotic and the holy page and you can check out this post on eros. Or you can go to vlog, I think it was Road to Renaissance vlog 2 or 3, where this clip is in. The purpose of mastering your desires is to no longer seek satisfaction or fulfillment in the finite outcomes of worldly desires, but to instead choose worldly desires as vehicles that allow us to channel our spiritual desires. See, your worldly desires are finite, fleeting, but your spiritual desires are infinite and fulfilling. You may be able to repress them. You may be able to suppress and repress, compartmentalize your spiritual desires, but you can never get rid of them. That desire you have to create, to make art, to tell your stories, to share, that ain't going nowhere again. That desire to serve other people, to help, to contribute, to feel like you're actually making a difference, that desire ain't going nowhere either. That desire to grow and evolve, to learn, to gather in wisdom, that one's not leaving. That desire to feel a part of something greater than yourself, to feel connected to others, feel connected to reality, feel connected to life. I'm sorry to tell you, you're stuck with that one too, bro. Our worldly desires can serve as a vehicle for harnessing our spiritual desires, but it's ultimately our great spiritual desires that give us the love and satisfaction that we desire from life. It's creating, it's serving others, it's growth, evolution, it's feeling one. Those are the things that really make us feel fulfilled, that really make us feel whole. See, I currently have a goal to make $2,000 per month online so I can move to Bali. But I don't have this goal because I think that once I make $2,000 online and live in Bali, I'll finally be able to be happy. No. I'm happy right now as I read you these fucking words. Making money and moving my physical location isn't going to do anything for my internal world. And at the end of the day, your quality of life is proportional to the quality of your internal world. What is your internal world? Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your identity, your nervous system. It's where you put your attention. But what those goals do is allow me to set my sights on a goal and then focus on the inner work and the external skill sets I needed to develop in order to get there. Leveraging my worldly desires for money and location freedom to serve as a way for me to grow in my self-awareness, in my creative pursuits, in my relationship with God. This is the paradigm I want you to have with your worldly and your spiritual desires. Don't deny your worldly desires. God put them on your heart for a reason. Just don't fall for the trap of finding happiness in the finite desires of the world. Many have done so, and many have paid the price in immense suffering because of that belief. The world will never satisfy you. Let me say that one again. The world, like this physical reality, will never satisfy you. Stop looking for it to, and you're on your way to inner freedom. I want to say one final note before I end this. Let me actually read you this quote. Yesterday I went to the library and I started reading a book called Mysticism by Evelyn Underhill. I was reading this and it just hit so hard for me I had to stop reading and grab my journal so I could write this quote down. Under whatsoever symbols they have objectified their quest, none of these seekers have ever been able to assure the world that they have found, seen face to face, the reality behind the veil. But if we may trust the reports of the mystics, and their reports given with a strange accent of certainty and good faith, they have succeeded where all these others have failed in establishing immediate communication between the spirit of man, entangled as they declare amongst material things, amongst the physical reality, and that only reality that immaterial and final being, which some philosophers call the absolute, and some theologians call God. This, they say, and here many who are not mystics agree with them, is the hidden truth, which is the object of man's craving, the only satisfying goal of his quest. Like I said, that was from Evelyn Underhill's book, Mysticism. I love this quote, man. The mystics have learned over the millennia that the world can't fulfill you. Can't. Why is that? Because what you're looking for isn't in the world. It's not external, it's internal. Because at the end of the day, what you're looking for is God. And God is spirit. Internal mastery, internal change is the only way to have external mastery, external change. Only by recognizing that, yes, you have worldly desires, but you're not seeking the worldly desires because you think that getting those things is going to give you some kind of fulfillment. No, you're seeking those worldly desires because you understand that it's a vehicle that's going to help you experience more God. That is the mystic's mindset. That is the mindset I want you to adopt. If you don't know anything about me, my name is Jaden. I'm a mystic, I'm a philosopher, I'm a polymath, I'm a healer. It's my mission to help as many artists as possible live their most free and authentic lives by helping them understand who they truly are, helping them express who they truly are. That's why I'm so passionate about bridging the worlds of art, philosophy, and mysticism here on this channel, The Mystical Polymath, and why I love talking about love and dating, relationships on my other channel, Conscious Lovers. If my mission resonates with you, I'd appreciate if you drop a sub to this channel and my other channel, link in the description. And when you're ready to take your journey to the next level, I want to invite you to join our community, the Masters of Alchemy. And if you'd like my personal help on navigating your polymath journey, on doing the inner work to get to that next level of your mental health journey, your artist journey, your polymath journey, I'd love to help you one-to-one. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram saying guide. We can go from there, right? Do it today. Be better for it tomorrow. Stay devoted. Stay inspired.